Hello, everybody. I'd like to share some information here on the assignment that you're working on for developing page spreads for this grid assignment. And let me share my screen here. Okay. Yeah, so one of the first things that you want to do as you're putting together your concept for this assignment is you want to get some sketch paper and a pen or pencil and start to think about how you'd like to make the best use of the space and um, develop a dynamic and interesting composition with the type that I've given you for option A and some of the imagery. And keep in mind, you don't have to use all of the imagery. And if you look at the assignment instructions, you'll see that I've provided some examples that will show you that you can really get creative in how you apply um, some of the different artwork that came in that zip file. These are thumbs for a single page layout, more like a poster layout, but I'm just showing these as an example so that you can see what these thumbnails provide for you as you're exploring a layout. What we're looking at here specifically is how does the designer make decisions on pulling together type and images, either illustrations or photography. So as you can see here, there's lots of different options. On this other sketch here, the designer was really trying to figure out how to make this poster style composition be most effective in the idea of there being a hierarchy. So there is definitely hierarchy involved when you're doing a page spread in this type of an assignment as well. So do take note of that and make some decisions on how you want to develop that hierarchy based on what you think is the most important elements to draw people's attention. And here's another one here where you can see, um, you know, the designer got very creative with trying all kinds of different combinations of text and imagery. Moving a little bit farther along into digital production here, I just want to show you some more examples. Now, these are not necessarily uh, similar to this particular assignment because, of course, the dimensions of these pages are a little bit different than the one that I gave you for the assignment. And so it's going to be a little bit different. But you can see here in this particular arrangement of a spread, and the spread is easy to see because of the color difference between the right and left side. Um, the design here makes use of a primary photo and basically takes up the entire space of that spread and then puts all of the text into a 3-column layout on the right side, but needs to also include some of these like headshot photos. So the headshots are integrated into the text block columns. And that's a very common way of handling images and text when the text is falling into columns, which is that, you don't need to put the images over to the side. You can integrate the two a little bit by overlaying them, as long as you're making sure that you're creating a nice text wrap around the images. You'll create a better relationship between the two. Another interesting thing about this right side spread is that it has a headline, and the header inspiring change is the largest of the fonts. And then there's a smaller subhead, but it actually sits above the header, a message from our president. And then the initial letter of the column has been made to be a large initial cap. That really orients the reader to where the start of the reading occurs. In this same multi-page document, further in, you'll see another page spread that again makes use of right and left sides, but has a lot of some different kinds of things going on here. On the left side, you have some photography that is um, put into a diagonal, cross diagonal layout. And then there are these pull quotes or call out boxes that sit on top of the colored background and include a header font size and smaller text blocks. On the right side, you have, again, instead of the three column layout, which you do have a three column layout here, but the first two columns on the left have been combined. So it's one, two, and then the third one here on the right. So it's still in the three column layout, but two of the three columns have been combined into one, right? And then straddling these two sides is an image that kind of unifies all of the text. And then the text has been given different colors to, again, in the mind of the reader, give them some cues as to what information is kept together and which is separate. In this third page on this particular annual report is again, a spread layout, three columns. This time, all of the columns are kept in their original dimensions on both the right and the left. But again, photography is interjected into both of these spreads. And actually, the photography takes up the space of two columns, right? And this layout respects the margins between the columns always, even if it's photography and text, or on the left here, photography and a text box. And you'll notice the strong use of grids. So the alignment is really important to take a look at. Look at the alignment here on the left. This box here, this blue box, aligns perfectly with the top of this image, right? Now let's take a look at a couple of other layouts here. These are also spreads. Make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. And in this instance, in this particular document, all of the right pages have this light gray background, and all of the left pages are white. So it creates a dynamic as the reader is moving through this document. They're going to always see the right pages being equally colored. This particular document has pagination, so you'll see this little tiny box here. A little hard to see here, but it's actually the page number. And some of these pages are very light. There might be just a little bit of text and a couple of images. And others have a little bit more text. Sometimes when the text it is quite a bit of text, it will be positioned on top of a darker box. So you can put a darker colored box, rectangle or square, on top of the other color. You can actually like layer your colors. It's nice to do that because you want to have a darker color if you're going to use a white font. Also, this darker color here on the right side of this page is the same exact color that the font is colored on the left side of the page, right? So when it's sitting on white, it's this dark color. It's the same dark color that you see over here on the right. When you get to pages that have actually quite a bit more information on them, like the bios page of the executive team, it uses sort of a two-column. It is a three-column layout, but the right column has been stretched across two columns. And finally, the last one here is another sort of annual report. This one is very colorful, and it is a two-column layout, and it's a taller. It's sort of a more narrow booklet. So a three-column layout wouldn't really work here because you don't have the width. Keep in mind there needs to be a certain amount of width. And if you look through the textbook as you're doing your readings, you'll notice that it talks a little bit about proper width for a line of type. Yeah. And actually, this particular layout has one spread that goes all the way across. So the center spread is it's not organized right. On this particular PDF, but this here goes all the way across. So there's a spread that goes in the middle of the book that goes all the way across. Right. And sometimes there is a drop down block that lays a piece of colored material over a photograph, but does it in a way that makes it semi-transparent. Right. So hopefully these are helpful for you as you're working on this. A side note for option B, you can be as creative as you want. So you can introduce your own text and images. You can create an advertisement. Feel free to be very creative with that and enjoy that process. Okay, have fun.